This is Joshy Blogs. Um, I'm feeling like I could use a little bit more sleep, so I'm hoping that this game will put me to sleep with all the reading. So yeah, yes, I guess it's time to check in with our favorite fan servicey lesbians, fan servicey anime lesbians, anime lesbians. Legends of Talia, Arcadia. Let's play. There are chickens too, pecking the ground for worms. A few children playing jump rope, but the moment they see me, they make themselves scarce. How odd. Usually it's the other way around. Have they never heard of me? That was a long while ago. Perhaps it's before their time. Hey, Cecily? What? Is there something on my face? You look fine, Arcadia. A little gloomy, maybe. I'm always gloomy. Except when you're with me, huh? Don't talk to me like we're friends. I sigh. This place, fair size, just like Freycross. It's just like Amaranth. Just like my home. Little Haven. I grew up in Little Haven. I wasn't born there. I was born in Spinel, but I spent my childhood there. The best years of my life, some might say. But these so-called best years were mostly occupied with milking the family goat, Resi. I didn't play... Well, you don't have to call them the best years of your life. I didn't play with the other children very much. I was shy, if you can believe it. I always hid behind my mother's back. I can believe it, I think. I mean, discounting the way you dress. My parents moved back to Spinel when I was 7. My mother gave up making cheese once the war started. She wanted to become a white mage. She wanted to help our people. She wanted me to be a mage too. Unfortunately, I've never been good with magic. I look around once more. The pigs and the chickens are still there, but there are no other people. Where is everybody? Is this a day of rest? Maybe Cecily's some kind of witch. Well, it is Sasha's day. The others will probably be at church. Church, right. There's a church in every single village, no matter how small, in Talia. I think it's a law. It was passed by the High Priestess Aurora, the de facto ruler of Talia. So Talia must be the nation we're in. Alright, and she's Arcadia, right. Queen Leda is supposed to be in charge, but she's nothing more than a figurehead. Everybody knows the churches have all the power. If you want, you can wait at my house. I can pour you a cup of tea. I'm not a fan of tea. Seriously, but I have all different kinds. There's rosehip and pumpkin and... Please make her stop. I can only fit so much information into my head, and a catalog of all the teas across Talia is not something I need to hear. Alright, fine. You mean you come with me? Sure. What do I have to lose? Probably your life, I guess, and your freedom. I'll do anything if it means Cecily will stop rabbiting in my ear. Oh, Arcadia! Thank you so much! Is rabbiting a real word? I don't think I know that word. Maybe this is another chance to expand my vocabulary. Rabbiting. Any various long-eared, short-tailed, burrowing mammals of the... Any various... No, that's rabbit. Rabbiting. Okay. Hunting. The activity of hunting rabbits is rabbiting. Okay. Is it possible that I saw rabbiting with an E? Rabbiting. Obsolete term for making congruous stepwise cuts on opposing bone surfaces for stability after impact. Nope. Nope, I don't understand that word at all, but I guess that's why it's obsolete. Yeah, so this is definitely not correct. Not a correct term in the use of the term rabbiting, but I guess I understand what it means. Cecily grins and rolls up her sleeves, flexes her non-existent muscles. I'll make you the best pumpkin tea you ever tasted. Cecily looks like she does have some muscles, though. I mean, yeah, she's in shape. I suppose she does look like she has less muscles than Arcadia, so I guess the only slightly so. I never said I wanted pumpkin tea, but that's what you're going to get. I think it's the most delicious tea we have. Fine. I'm not a big connoisseur of orange vegetables. My mother used to pinch my nose when I was younger, then force carrots inside my mouth when I opened it up for air. Oh my god. My mother, despite being a white mage, was quite forceful. She would have made a good warrior. I think before my mother moved to Little Haven, she was a warrior mage, but she never spoke about it. There's a lot I don't know about my family. Now it's too late to ask them. They're not in a fit state to answer questions. Cecily leads me down the dirt road, practically skipping. She skirts around the stray pig, does a neat loop around the fountain, and leads me through the houses. I walk along behind her obediently. She walks and walks. The air starts to get colder. The houses thin out. There aren't as many trees around here either. Are we going in the right way? Of course, I wouldn't forget the way to my own house. I'm not so sure about that. Oh, you. Cecily pokes me in the side. You are funny. I wasn't joking. I glance to my left and right. My fingers start to twitch. It's the same feeling I get when I'm in imminent danger, when a monster is going to attack. Are we nearly there yet, Cecily? Almost. I sniff the air. I can smell vanilla pods, lavender, the faint embers of a leftover fire. Well, there's nothing so unusual about that. I glance at the ground and... I blink. There, sprouting by the path, only a few inches away from my foot, I see it. A clump of mugwort. Didn't Cecily go into the forest, 3 hours away from home, precisely so she could pick this plant? That's what she told me. She said it was a salve for her sister. Now I'm not sure if I believe her. Cecily, I start to say it, but I stop. Close my mouth. My teeth clink together. Cecily is standing before me. She faces me. Her fingers clenched in fists at her side. Her eyes are narrowed. We're far away from the houses now. Arcadia. Oh shit. This is a revenge quest, because she left her to die in the fire. Oh shit. Cecily's voice is soft and low. It's strangely menacing. I'm sorry, but the village chief told me to do this. It's the only way. What are you? I don't have a chance to finish. Cecily raises her hand and says something. She expels her voice into the air. It isn't a shout, but it still sets my teeth on edge. I know what this means. This simple single command. Burn. Oh shit. No, she's not necessarily the same girl, or she wouldn't have apologized. Cecily, she betrayed us. She's a mage. She knows magic. And I never suspected a thing. She must have got trapped by the plant on purpose. That's why I'm so slow to react. Too slow. Ugh. In the end, it isn't Cecily's fire spell that brings me to my knees, powerful though it is. And it really is powerful. I'll give credit where credit's due. For such an unassuming, ordinary-looking girl, she's very strong, well-trained. The fire licks at my sides. It sears the skin off my flesh. It hurts. It really does hurt. But Cecily isn't the one who defeats me. It's my own foolishness. my stupidity, my willingness to trust. I thought I dispensed of that fear of that years ago. Apparently not. If only Cecily wasn't so pretty. Pretty girls really will be the death of me. Defeated. I wake up, try to open my eyes. First one, then the other. It hurts. My head is pounding. The inside of my mouth tastes of charcoal. Then I swallow. I feel my throat convulsing. It feels like I've inhaled a ball-bearing choke. Ugh. The air is rank. It smells of death and burning. It takes me a few moments to work out that the smell is coming from me. So, I see you're awake. Well, that was unexpected. Wow. Okay. What a sudden turnaround. So she supposedly like got this charcoal smell coming off her, and she's been burnt terribly. But look, she looks fine. I lift my head. There's Cecily, but she looks different to how she did when I first met her. More serious, almost threatening. Cecily, I thought you were helpless. You thought wrong. People tend not to take me seriously. That's their loss. They only realize how powerful I am. They only realize how powerful I am until it's too late. That sentence was badly constructed. They don't realize it until it's too late. Or they only realize it when it's too late. But anyway, you make it sound like you lure innocent women into your village and set them on fire all the time. It's not a hobby of mine, but I'd hardly call you innocent. Lucky for you, I didn't cause any lasting damage. I used quite a powerful spell, but you look fine. She's right, her fire spell was rather powerful. It singed my skin. I could feel it peeling away like strips of wallpaper. It's better now, though, which is more than can be said for my clothes. Your clothes look fine, bitch. I'm just ignoring the part where she says her clothes were burned. Or where it was yeah, because she's fine. And her clothes are fine. It seems the legends are true. You really are durable. All the best warrior priests are. If you make a visual novel, try to make sure that the images match the description. Important. Did they really operate on you in Spinel? That's what people say. I'm not at liberty to tell you. We can imagine that this is a play and they're describing the things that are happening, but they're just actors, so they can't actually get burned, so they just describe the burns to you. And you have to use your imagination. I'm not at liberty to tell you that. If I shared any official church secrets, they'd have my head. Oh, you don't need to concern yourself with the church right now. They're the least of your worries. I smile sardonically. Well, that makes a nice change. Sardonically, that's a word I don't hear often. I don't think I know that word. Let's learn a new word. Sardonic. That's sort of like ironic, right? Sardonically. From sardonic, scornfully or cynically mocking. I see. Interesting. Okay, cool. Given to making sardonic remarks. He was proud sardonic, harsh to inferiority of every description. Well, that makes a nice change. Urgh. For a few moments, Cecily's stone expression shifts. I think I can see a pang of guilt, perhaps, on her pretty face. For all her big talk, she's still a relatively young woman. 19, 20? It's hard to tell. But her expression soon tightens. She grits her teeth. I bet you don't even know why you're here, do you? It seems like a poor way to pay somebody back for saving your life, I must admit. Though perhaps you do things differently in Fairside. Come off it. You know my life was never in any danger. Right, okay, of course. Even though she was like all tied up by that plant, she could have just destroyed it. I did wonder about that. If you're such a proficient mage, why didn't you protect yourself? Everybody knows mandragores are weak against fire. Well, what do you think I was doing, Arcadia? It doesn't take me long to figure it out. You were trying to lure me into a trap. That's right, and it worked out rather well, didn't it? I could always escape. I'm not so sure about that. I looked to my left and my right. Stone walls, iron bars. I don't have my sword. I don't know any magic. I could pick the lock maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if this cell is enchanted somehow. Yeah, look, they took the trouble of taking her sword away and drawing her without her sword. But they forgot to oh, Jesus Christ, my brain. Well, this is a good sign. I'm gonna fall asleep. Well, I'm gonna fall asleep soon. They forgot to draw the burn marks on her, or the singed clothing that they're describing. I guess that's the type of thing that might happen in stage play, though. They can take away the sword, but they can't have singed clothing necessarily. I could pick the lock maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if this cell is enchanted somehow. This is quite a precarious situation. It really is amazing. I never would have thought that Cecily Rhodes could capture the great Arcadia. I'm not that great. I just happened to kill a lot of people. Yes, you did. You let a lot of people die. I'm inclined to agree with her, but so few people have told me this during my lifetime, it trips me up. I beg your pardon? You heard me. You let everybody in Freycross die. Ah, so she knows about that, does she? That wasn't my proudest hour. That's putting it lightly. Do you even know why you're here? I imagine you hold something of a grudge. No, it isn't just me. I wasn't involved, not directly, but my sister. My sister's the village chief. She's the leader of Fairside. Did you know that? I don't believe you mentioned it. Right, so her sister's a real person, and probably her sister's the person she left to die in that fire. Well, it's true. Our family has governed the village for centuries. We keep it safe from harm. Fairside isn't a rich village. We don't mine rare minerals, and we don't have any deposits for coal or oil nearby. All we have is farms, pigs, and chickens. We tend to fend for ourselves. That's why the kids were afraid of her, right? Because they knew about what she did in Freycross. And have come to think of her as a villain. We do have some connections with Freycross Village, though. At least we did. Before it went up in flames. Yes, until that happened. Cecily's hands tremble. She clenches them into fists. It was 12 years ago. My mother and my grandmother took Celesta to Freycross Village. We had a bad harvest that year, and we were going to trade some of our cows for wheat and corn. I stayed at home with my father. I was too young to travel, and anyway, I'm younger than Celesta. I wasn't going to be the next head. I didn't need to see how trade is done. My sister was so excited. She'd never been on a trip so far away from home before. She braided her hair and tied it up with a green ribbon. She wore her best dress and packed her favorite nightgown. She thought it was like going on a holiday. She made sure to bring her most prized possessions too. Her woodcut of you, Arcadia, the lady warrior and hero of Kadath, which she brought with her own money from the traveling market of Melora. I looked at the stone floor, anything to avoid Cecily's gaze. That's the worst thing about being regaled with stories where you star as the main character. For better or for worse, you already know how things are going to end. When they arrived at Freycross Village after a days-long and weary travel, however, they discovered something amazing, something that put all thought of trade off their minds. They found you. You had arrived at the village before they had, and there was a banquet being held in your honor. Everyone was so excited. They thought it was a good omen, my sister especially. Cecily shakes her head. She was overjoyed. You were her muse, her idol, and she really did love you. She loved you, and then... When the dragon attacked, you abandoned the village. You could have defeated it, but you didn't. The village went looking for you, but you weren't in your room. You ran away, and you let everybody burn. Everybody died. My mother and my grandmother. And Celesta almost died too. The dragon's fire caught her legs and the hem of her skirt. It burnt them horribly. Now she can't walk. And you should know what dragon's fire can do. Doesn't allow healing. That's right. My sister's legs won't ever heal, no matter what we do. She's forced to relive the sensation of having her skin melted away from her flesh every waking hour of her life for the last 12 years. But that isn't the worst thing. That isn't what hurts her the most. I think I have a relatively good idea what that might be. I don't even need to ask. I can remember it clearly. The young girl, her dirty nightgown, her legs blackened and burnt and horribly melted. The smell of burning bodies and melting flesh was unbearable. And in a quiet, taut voice, with pain, the young girl asked, "Why?" I didn't know what to say. I didn't have any answer. I could have said sorry, but that would have been nothing more than a meaningless noise, an empty gesture. So I didn't apologize. Well, we can skip this. We read this only recently. She left her. She told her life was hard or whatever. It was really horrible. Celesta didn't die. She lay there on the ground in the dirt, in pain and agony for almost 2 days. The village burnt around her, and the smell of the smoke and dead bodies was almost more than she could bear. She was only 12. She wanted to die, but she couldn't. And then, after these hellish 2 days, she was found by a group of people from Fairside. They had come on horseback to see why my mother and grandmother and big sister hadn't returned yet. When they found Celesta lying on the ground, dazed and in agony, but still alive, they brought her back here. They nursed her back to health, or what little health is afforded to her now. She was the only one of my family who survived, and she never quite recovered. But what hurt my sister the most was what you said. What you did. Nothing. That's right, you did nothing. I bowed my head. Cecily's right. Maybe I could have saved that young girl, if I thought her life was worth saving. But I didn't. I knew with her legs mangled like that, even if she did survive, she wouldn't be able to survive happily. I knew what kind of fate would have awaited that young girl if I had saved her, so I decided her life was no longer worth living. I left her to die. You can have fun sitting in this cell. Reflect on your actions, thinking about what you did. I eyed Cecily cautiously. And if I decide to apologize, will you let me go? If I was going to let you go, I never would have bothered capturing you to begin with. That's what I thought too, but I just wanted to be sure. Despite what she's done to me, I still can't really imagine Cecily as a killer. She's too sweet, too soft. For all the animosity she might bear towards me, I don't think she's a bad person. Then again, I don't think most people are bad people. I don't think most of the soldiers from Sorrel I fought in Canada were bad people either. They were just doing their job. But they still killed Eloise. They would have killed me too. Even good people, if backed into a corner, can fight and kill with the best of them. The worst of them, more like. What about Cecily? Come dawn the next day, you're going to be executed. She says it simply. There's no emotion in her voice. Has the whole village come to this consensus? They were against it at first, but I argued on Celesta's behalf. Soon, they all came around. Everybody loves Celesta. They do anything to make her feel better. Even killing you. Killing me won't fix Celesta's legs. Maybe not, but it might ease the pain in her heart. It will make her happier. I doubt it. I don't care what you think. You're in no position to talk. Cecily glares at me. She stamps one foot against the ground. Electricity crackles around the bars of my cell. It's a warning. I was right. The cell has been surrounded by magic. They really don't want me escaping. We have to kill you. We have to. It's the only way for you to experience the pain my sister feels. I imagine she must be in a lot of pain, yes. So, are you going to do the honors yourself? Well, Cecily takes a step backwards. For a few moments, she looks unsettled, but she soon regains her composure. I'm the best mage in the village, and I'm Celeste's sister. If anybody's qualified to kill you, I am. And you plan to make a public spectacle of it. That's right. I'll drag you into the village center by your hair, and I'll show everybody what happens when you betray a member of the Fairside village. I don't think you're going to have much luck with that. That's not a good plan, Cecily. I don't care if you're a legendary hero. That doesn't matter to me. Yeah, but that's why you're going to get killed. How frightening. But legends don't sprout up for no reason. Even without a sword, I'm more than capable of defending myself. Not if I bind you with magic. You have a lot of faith in your magic, don't you? Yes, I do. I started practicing when I was young. It was just a hobby at first, but after what happened to Celeste, I was determined. I was going to get strong enough to protect her, so nobody can ever hurt her again. Strong enough to take down even the great warrior Arcadia, if I ever had the chance. So you've been practicing for my sake. I'm flattered. No, it isn't for your sake. It's for Celeste's. For revenge. Yes, and soon I'll finally be able to end your life. The people of Talia won't be happy with you. I don't care about the people of Talia. They've never worried about Fairside, so why should I worry about them? Our village could be looted by bandits or destroyed by giants, and nobody would care. We're nothing to the people. We're nobody. In a small village like mine, we look after ourselves. It's the only thing we can do. And even if everybody hails you as a hero, we in Fairside know the truth. You're not a hero. You're nothing more than a coward. You left one of our villages for dead. You let our leader and our past leader die. That's something you deserve to be punished for. And if nobody else in Talia will do it, then we will. The people might revere you as a god, but that's ridiculous. You're a normal woman, and you tricked them. You tricked all of them, including my sister. Well, your legacy will come to an end soon enough. Tomorrow morning. I lean back against the stone walls of the cell. Water drops slowly from the ceiling and onto the ground. Drip, drip, drip. I bring my knees up beneath my chin. Wrap my arms around my legs. Ponder. I agree with Cecily in part. I've never believed I was a god. I never wanted to be one. I just wanted to live a quiet life. Really and truly. My mother wanted me to be a white mage. She wanted me to aid in our fallen soldiers from afar. Unfortunately, I had no talent as a mage. I can't heal people. I can only hurt them. I became a warrior priest instead. My mother didn't talk to me for 6 months after I signed up. It was a difficult time. Then my mother died, not in Kadath, but in another earlier war. She was hit by a stray fire spell while trying to tend to a fallen soldier. She was incinerated alive, not so different from the people of Freycross. And she thought being a mage was a safe profession. She was wrong. Nobody's safe when there's a war going on. And Talia has been at war with the Sorel for as long as I can remember. It's impossible to live a quiet life when you're in constant fear of your life. Maybe that's why I decided to become a soldier. I was only 11 when my mother died. Oh well. You're wrong about a couple of things. Oh, what's that? I've never tried to trick anybody, least of all your sister. They all deluded themselves. Talia is a sad country. War rages and we lose lives. And people mourn and down the country, up and down the country. They turn to the church. They turn to the army. They turn to heroes. When they realize there are no real heroes, and everybody's just as scared and sad and small as they are, they create heroes, amplify legends, spread stories. Some of them are true, some of them are false. And people like me, who just so happen to be in the right place at the right time, get all kinds of responsibilities thrust upon us. Titles, accolades, adoration. I might be the great warrior Arcadia, scourge of the battlefield, champion of Kadath, the protector of Amaranth village, but at the end of the day, I'm just a human. Cecily thinks I tried to trick everybody. She's wrong. They trick themselves. That's the only way to survive in this world. I didn't think you'd look so pathetic. Celesta. That's what Celesta says when she lays eyes on me. The young leader of Fairside Village, foisted up into a position of authority far too soon, looks down at me. She's on the other side of the iron bars. I'm still in my cell, as might be expected. The bars are fortified with Cecily's fearsome magic, and I don't think I'll be escaping anytime soon. I don't really want to try either. Cecily's sister Celesta looks much like she did all those years ago back in Fairycross. She still has the same fluffy hair and pale blue eyes. Her eyes are purple, bitch. Blue. She really is cute, even though she's bound in to a wooden wheelchair. Jesus, keep your pants on, girl. This is the little girl who you left to die and nearly burned to death. Her legs are completely concealed in a pale green fabric. I wonder what they look like now. Ugh, keep your pants on, damn it. Celeste purses her lips. Maybe it's because of the pain. She's been in constant pain for 12 years. All those years ago, I was the one lying on the ground while you looked up at me. But I imagine you can't remember that. I remember more than you think. Oh, so you're saying I weighed heavily upon your mind? Not so heavily. I've seen a lot of terrible things in my time, but it did occur to me every once in a while. I see. So my suffering was something you only bothered to remember every once in a while whenever it was convenient for you. Unfortunately for me, I've had to live with my condition for over a decade. I can't remember it every once in a while. It will stay with me forever. You have my sympathies? Celeste bites down on her lower lip. She doesn't look very happy. Neither would I if I was in her situation. Sympathy? You think I want your sympathy? It's all I have to give you. No, you're wrong about that. There's more you can give me. Maybe then I won't have to suffer so. And what is that exactly? My life? Your life, exactly. You know, Arcadia, I used to love you. I loved you dearly. I thought you were the most incredible hero in the world. When I met you in Fairycross, and by chance too, I was so happy, I thought I was going to die. Then, I nearly did die, and you didn't do anything to help me. You left me. Can you imagine that? Being abandoned by your childhood hero? I shake my head, no. I tell her that I can't. I've never had a childhood hero. I was a desperately unimaginative little girl. The closet I really had was my mother. The closest I really had was my mother, who moved the whole family back to Spinel so she could become a white mage. She had abandoned her humble job in Little Haven, working as a baker by my father's side to help our warriors recover in many, many armies. But there was nobody to help my mother when she was hit by a stray magic arrow. She died. Some hero she turned out to be. You turned your back on me, Arcadia, but now I'm going to turn my back on you. If it makes you feel any better, go ahead. I will. You talk big now, but you'll see. Tomorrow we'll see. When you kill me? Yes, when we kill you. It won't heal your legs. Nothing will, but it might heal something else. She presses her hand against her chest. Her eyelashes flutter. My heart. If her heart is one that can be placated by needless bloodshed, perhaps I did the right thing choosing not to save her. Talia is full of people like that already. People like me. We don't need any more. Cecily guards the cell during the night. She sits on a wooden chair just beyond the iron bars, a book in her hands, so she can read. That's surprising. A lot of people in Talia can't, particularly those who hail from small villages like Fairside. Well, I think a wizard could read, right? Maybe it doesn't involve spell reading necessarily. Maybe it's because she's the daughter of a past village leader. She might have received a special education. I tilt my head to one side, try to glean what the book is under the cover of darkness. Only a single candle illuminates the cell. It's hard to see. I think it's a compendium about plants, herbs, something to do with medicine. Is that for Celesta? Cecily sets the book on her lap and gives me a stern look. What do you care about Celesta? After meeting her myself, I'm rather curious. I want to know more about her, and you. Well, I don't want to talk. Not to an attempted murderer. I'm not an attempted murderer. I've killed hundreds and hundreds of people in my lifetime, like I did at Kadath, but I suppose you don't care about that. That's different. You had orders from the church. You had to fight. I had orders, yes, but I didn't have to kill anyone. Their lives were precious too. I'm sure the men and women I killed on the battlefield had family too. Mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles, grandparents, a beloved older brother or sister maybe. Stop, just stop. Stop what? You know what I mean. All these false equivalences. I'm just weighing the worth of one human life against another's. Killing people on the battlefield is not the same as leaving an innocent young girl to die. Maybe. Maybe not. There's no maybe. It's the truth, plain and simple. Cecily snores. You really haven't learned a thing, have you? She sounds annoyed. She looks agitated. She picks up her book about herbs once more, but she can't concentrate. She shifts her right foot, tapping against the ground insistently. This is an unusual experience. People don't often tell me to shut up, not quite so harshly. I frown, tilt my head to one side. I'm not usually this talkative, but there's precious else to do. I could sleep, I suppose, but I don't want to while away my final night before my impending execution sleeping. It would seem like a bit of a waste. Why are you here, Cecily? Because I have to keep watch to make sure you don't run away. I don't think I can run away right now. You're exaggerating my abilities. I don't want to take any chances. You're a sneaky one. Not as sneaky as you. You did trick me. If I didn't, I couldn't. You could have cut me down with your sword in a second. I could, but I don't think I would have done that. Why not? What would be the point? I don't believe the people of in Talia think you're a hero. I can't believe the people of Talia think you're a hero. The more you talk, the more I dislike you. You wouldn't be the first person to say that. Don't sound so proud of yourself. I'm not. Good, you won't be. Water trickles form the dingy ceiling. I think it means to say water trickles down from the dingy ceiling. Drip, drip, drip. It sounds almost like the cell is crying, but I don't think anybody would cry for my sake. Nobody I know anyway. My parents are dead. Eloise is dead. All the people I care about are dead. Maybe my instructor back in Spinel's army, Miwa, would shed a tear or two, but I doubt it. Fox people, even those integrated amongst the Spinel society, can be awfully aloof. Perhaps Miwa was never particularly emotional, even if she did ruffle my hair or slip me pieces of candy from time to time. I'm just a shadow, a relic of the past, a machine created by the church who will stay young and fresh until I reach old age. Then it will all catch up with me. The gravity of my sins, perhaps. Your sister didn't stay here very long. Celesta? That's what I meant, unless you have any other sisters. No, Celesta's all the family I have left. And I might not have her if you had your own way. Cecily sniffs. Celesta can't stay in the underground dungeon too long. It's too damp. It irritates her leg and she might catch a cold. I have heard Horde Dragon's fire can weaken the immune system. She gets sick so easily. So very easily. As if it weren't enough that she can't walk. She's always bedridden with colds, fevers, high temperatures. How can she run a village if she's always ill? Sometimes I step in for her, but only sometimes. She's very duty-driven. She doesn't like pulling off her responsibilities onto other people. But if she's ill, she should rest. If she rested whenever she was ill, she'd be resting all the time. Besides, she feels like she has to prove herself because of her legs. That's right. She's afraid people will think she's not fit to be a leader because of her condition, so she's always exerting herself. She forever takes on more than she should, even though it makes her sicker. I admire her tenacity, but I don't see what she hopes to accomplish by working herself to death. Isn't she worried about upsetting you? She is. She worries a good deal, but she has so many other things to worry about. I stopped nagging her after a while. It didn't seem fair, not when she's trying so hard. Cecily looks down at her lap, at the leather-bound book resting upon it. She sighs. I don't know what you might think of Celesta, but she isn't cruel. She isn't cold. She's a good girl, really. Even though she wants to kill me. Even so, she feels like she has to. It's the only way for her to move on, maybe. Then she'll stop being so hard on herself. She'll stop feeling like a failure. Cecily sniffs. She wipes her eyes with the back of her arms. Tears. It's hard to believe it. It's hard to tell in the darkness. That's another reason why Celesta can't spend too much time with you. She's worried. If she watches you suffer, she'll start to sympathize with you. Despite everything that's happened, you're still her childhood hero. She didn't throw away her woodcut of your face. It's still in her bedroom. Sometimes she looks at it for advice. She can't be with you too long. It will make her realize how all of this is, and then will hurt her. Yes, guilt. Sorry, I feel like I'm not reading very well. I'm starting to fall asleep, but I kind of want to go a little further before I stop. I click my tongue against the roof of my mouth. Emotions can be quite difficult at times. You speak like you have no emotions of your own. I do. I just tried to bury them. Why? It's like your sister said. It's hard to take a human life if you know what you're doing. Even for warriors like you. Even for me, yes. At first, at least. But you left my sister. Maybe because I'd grown used to leaving wounded soldiers on the battlefield. It was easy for me. The dead and the dying had just become a part of my everyday life. It's different for your sister. She's not accustomed to battle. Taking a life is a heavy burden. I don't know if Celesta would be able to bear it. She might not be strong enough. Are you saying my sister's weak? No. I think she's very strong. She has a fierce sense of justice. That's why she wanted to capture me. But that's also why killing me would do more harm than good. Who could live with the knowledge that they ordered the death of their own childhood hero? It's one thing to lose faith in a hero. It's another to end their life for yourself. Do you think Celesta can handle that? Oh, I see how it is. Cecily's eyes suddenly flash. You don't care about Celesta at all. You're just arguing to attempt to save your own skin. No, that isn't... You pretended to care about my sister, but you don't. You just want us to let you go free. Maybe with a tap on the wrist and a warning not to do it again. This whole time, when you spouted pretty stories about Celesta, you were only thinking about yourself. It seems I've made Cecily angry. That wasn't my intention, though. I'm not very good with words. That's why I became a warrior. It's the only thing I am good at. Cecily, shut up! Cecily's face is pale. She brings her hands against her ears, pressing the palms flat against both sides of her head. I don't think she's willing to listen to reason. I don't think she's willing to listen to anything. Shut up, shut up, shut! And then there's a loud roar. The roar rumbles through the earth itself. The walls of my underground prison tremble. The puddle of my rusty water by my foot shakes. Ripples spread across it ominously. A few pebbles are dislodged from the stone walls. They're dislodged from the roof. It feels like my bones are rattling beneath my skin. Kya! Cecily shrieks in surprise. Her chair topples over backwards, and she's thrown against the floor. The roar has stopped now, but its vibrations continue. My teeth click together like castanets. Cecily whimpers. She rubs her head behind her head. She rubs her behind with one hand. What on earth? There it is again. It starts as soon as it stops. Another roar, a little quieter this time, further away. Then there's a shriek, a lot of shrieks. Screaming, yelling. I can smell the panic in the air. I can smell the chaos. I can smell the fear. I can smell my nostrils twitch, my whole body tenses. death and destruction, smoke and fire. The dragon came back. I know what this is. There's only one thing that this could be. It's a dragon. Huh? What do you mean? I recognize the sound. There's a dragon in Fairside Village. But no. Cecily staggers backwards, her eyes widen even further, if such a thing is possible, with obvious fright. It can't be, not here. But it is, I can tell. I know these sounds, I know the smell. Burning buildings, burning bodies. I hope not. Images of Freycross Village come to mind. I thought I'd push these down into my subconscious until I trod them into the dirt with the heels of my shoes. Evidently not. And not as tough as I thought I used to be. Or not as tough as I used to be. I'm so sleepy, I can't read. I remember the fire, the smoke, the smog. There were burning bodies scattered across the land, a charred corpse hanging out the doorway of a building, attempting to escape, forever halted in the process. The sheep burns, the pig burns, the cow burns. Okay, come on, dude. You get it. A lot of stuff burned. Even the sky itself seemed to burn. I don't want the same fate to befall Fairside, but first... Cecily, listen, you have to let me go. I can't. Yes, you can. Release your enchantment and open the cell. But the execution... Is she still worrying about that? There won't be anybody left in Fairside to execute me if you don't let me go. There's another roar. It shakes the ground. It shakes my bones. It shakes my very heart. So hard it knocks against my ribcage. I gasp for breath. Even down here beneath the surface of the earth, where the prisoners are kept far away from the light, I can smell the burning. It's already started. But how can I trust you? If I let you go, you'll run away. You'll just run away again like you did in Freycross Village, like you did with my sister. No, I won't. I promise. But how do I know that? You already did it once. You could do it again. What's stopping you? I don't know. A sense of duty, perhaps. Despite her obvious, abject fear, Cecily's able to muster up a snort. She doesn't look, nor does she sound, very convinced. A sense of duty? You didn't have much of that back in Freycross Village. Maybe not, but it was too late for Freycross Village. I left before the dragon attacked. When I came back, and almost everyone had perished already. I found a medic on the road and asked him if they would help, but I don't know if they turned back or not. What? Cecily stares at me. But I thought you just walked away. I did walk away because there was nothing else I could do. But this is different. Fairside Village is different. I'm here now, and I could help you. I could save you if only you'd let me go and give me my sword. Well... I hear the roar again, the rumbling. We're running out of time. Cecily, please! I shout at her, pleading, almost begging. Now this is a rare occurrence. The great warrior of Arcadia doesn't beg. It doesn't really suit my image. It's a good thing I've never cared all that much about my image, and I don't feel any particular sense of shame in begging. If it will help prevent yet another senseless slaughter, my own pride doesn't mean all that much. I'll throw it away. Cecily, I don't care what you think of me, but please let me help you. You have to. Cecily blinks, looks at me, her lips pursed, pale pink splashed together against her creamy skin, like petals of a rose. Jesus, keep your pants on. Arcadia. And then slowly but surely. Oh, alright, She nods her head. I'll do it. And she releases the enchantment about the bars of my cell. When I step outside into the darkness, my trusty sword is in hand. I'm instantly hit by how terrible the situation is. Several of the buildings are on fire, the thatched roofs are blazing and burning, the flickering red and yellow flames dance, laughing at the velvet blue sky like tongues. Alright, I think we're gonna stop here. I read way too long. I'm pretty damn sleepy, but I just wanted to see where this was going and how this story of her execution would end. I think we've gotten there. Alright, that's all folks. See you next time on the next Arcadia Tales of Talia, something or other. Tales of Talia, Arcadia. Bye everybody. Good night. Something about it doesn't seem Something about it seems almost degenerate, unpleasantly immoral. It isn't just the houses that are alight. The trees that line Fairside are burning too. They stand sentinel like torches, bleeding heat into the night. It really is hot, unpleasantly warm. I can feel myself sweating. Unpleasantly warm. Is it unpleasantly warm? We see somebody turn the air conditioning on it. My fingers resting against the hilt of my sword feel uncomfortably slippery. Guess that'll happen. Embers flicker like fireflies. Smoke and smog billow through the air like a shroud. It catches in my hair, in my nose, in my mouth. When I inhale, I smell death. You smell death. You smell death.